Welcome back, everyone. This is Akinar here with more Blueprints. We are on to day 32. Let's continue, and we can reminisce briefly, as we always do, about the previous day, 31. Wrapping up our 31-day month, although I guess I don't know. We didn't start at the beginning of the month. I'm getting distracted on the length of certain calendar months rather than focusing on the important fact, which was something that probably all of you have been patiently and frustratingly waiting for, which is for me to get my act together and actually go back to room 46. It is not displayed here on our house history, but we did finally, after almost half a month worth of gameplay days, we finally went back to room 36. And it's so fortunate that I did pick up the paper crown and have the opportunity to enter the antechamber once again, because that was really the kick that I needed, other than somebody hinting at, hey, maybe you should give another try to go back to room 36. I appreciate that you all are on board with the blind playthrough here. Don't tell me anything. Let me get to things in due time. It might certainly take a bunch of time for us to get there, but we did finally get back to room 46, and that means we have a crown, a blue crown waiting for us in our coat check, which I vaguely remember what it does, but I need to look at it again to remind myself exactly what it does. But we did so much else on day 31. I had a realization with the freezer. I think I understand now what we need to do with the freezer. I had a kind comment that did reply to my actual question, which was, can I actually melt the contents of the icebox or the cooler? And the response was yes. And I realized at that point that I had forgotten about a note in the laboratory. The laboratory does tell us that the freezer can be thawed, and that, in fact, 17C is the complete thaw, which we have done before. You don't have to get the furnace that close to get a complete thaw of the freezer, but there's a further note. There is a further bit of writing on that note in the laboratory that I think you need the magnifying glass for, that says the cooler is unaffected. And at that moment, I realized, wait a second. We have a burning glass. We've been able to make a burning glass several times now. Certainly, a burning glass should be capable of melting some ice. If it can blow up some dynamite, and if it can scorch the base of a sundial, certainly it can melt the contents of a freezer cooler. I think that's what we need to do. But we're not going to get the freezer today because of course we used it yesterday. So we'll see about that in the future. For today, though, there were some other fun things that happened that we can talk about with, we did open up the secret chamber in the trading post, and we got another upgrade disc. We also, as I mentioned, we did burn. We scorched the base of the sundial. However, I inadvertently bugged it out by leaving, and my overthinking brain jumping into, I have to go back to, in order to figure out how I turn the sundial correctly, I need to re-examine the outside of the wishing pool, the fountain in the front. And I don't think that actually has anything to do with it now that I've seen this, that pattern. There's no relationship, I don't think, between this and the sundial base. But then returning to the sundial base, I wasn't able to turn it anymore because apparently that bugs it out. So we're not going to go to the sundial right away. We're going to wait a little bit, and if we get our hands on a bunch of extra steps or some running shoes, and hopefully maybe a burning glass. I don't know if we have to have the burning glass again to scorch the sundial base, if that's a permanent change or not. But we will make our way back there eventually once we've gone through the draft here a bit. So yeah, that's enough for recap for now, though. There's some other things to talk about. By the way, I am experimenting with a new lighting setup as well here with the webcam. So let me know what you think about the new lighting. Let's get our draft started. Why don't we? Let's jump in and choose between a tool shed, a root cellar, and a tomb. I think we're going to rule out the tomb immediately just because I have 271 gold. We don't need no stinking tomb. I think the choice here is the tool shed. I think we just get the items to start our day. We could certainly go with another root cellar while we continue to have this pretty awesome buff that gives us 8 courtyards in our draft pool. That root cellar goes just beautifully hand in hand with all of those wonderful courtyards. So I think it's between the tool shed and the root cellar. It's just that we did the root cellar really recently, and you know, it is always nice to just start your draft with a couple special items to jumpstart that inventory. I was kind of hoping for a schoolhouse. We are starting the day also with 18 gems, thanks to the freezer. A schoolhouse would have been a nice pickup, but no such luck. I'm thinking this over just a little bit longer than my instinct is the tool shed, but I do really like that synergy with the root cellar and the courtyard buff, the courtyard boon or blessing. But I think it's also just been a while since we picked the tool shed. Let's pick the room that's been ignored the longest and maybe drafted the least. We'll pick up the tool shed here and we'll get those couple items. Funny enough, we do get a shovel. Unfortunately, we do get a magnifying glass. It's not unfortunate, that much unfortunate, I should say, because a magnifying glass is always good. It's just that we had a special order, and that means now one of our slots in we had a special order for a magnifying glass. So one of our inventory or shelf spaces for the commissary is going to be unused. But, you know, small little downside. I am not going to pick up this allowance just yet. We have 271 gold. If there's ever some world where we use the laundry room to swap gold for keys or gems, I'd like to come back and pick up the allowance after we've done that swap. We're not gonna need, I don't think we're gonna need any more gold today. So there's no reason for us to pick up the allowance just this moment. So I think we will continue doing what we've been doing, which is starting our draft middle of the entrance hall. Okay, do we go with a reading nook here, and then our library can... I'm always just a little bit anxious if the library does, you know, go into a dead end, but it would not in this case if we pick the reading nook first and draft from it, rather than we would want to draft through the reading nook, take the library, and take our shot at a bookshop. That is like one of the highest priorities. We need to get a bookshop, and we need to, in order to buy out Realm and Rune. So as many shots at a library as we can get is what I would like. But we could also take I don't think it's the planetarium here. If I'm taking a dead end, it's going to be the closet and just give myself more items. Dice in particular would be nice, but I feel like the closet has really gone down in its importance, its level of importance, because when you have a Geist bedroom, and it feels like a lot of other ways, like twin trunks in the pool and other things, lots of ways to get our hands on dice, and the closet just is not quite as important as it used to be. Maybe that will change once we pick up an upgrade disc that upgrades the closet. I am aware from having spent some time hanging out with my brother, looking at his replay of his day, the day that he inherited the manor, the day that he first got to room 46. I did briefly spy that the closet was an upgraded room, even though I didn't really absorb the upgrade. But I know it's on the list. I'm presuming that the list of upgraded rooms is the same for everybody. It's just a matter of what order you get them in. Don't confirm that for me. Don't tell me for sure. But because that could be wrong. It could be that the closet on this playthrough never gets upgraded because it didn't get picked from a bigger pool. There may be more than 16 rooms that are part of the pool of upgrades. But we already know actually the pool it may not be 16 rooms, because we've upgraded one room twice. We've upgraded our spare bedroom now to be a spare master bedroom, correct? In any case, I am going to take the reading nook here. Let's go ahead and get that. And but we won't draft there just yet. We don't need the key right away. We'll draft to the east. and see if it would be great if we could like get a library before we draft out of the reading nook, just to get two shots at drafting a bookshop. Instead, I think we probably take a hallway here, just give ourselves as many doors as possible, as well as a key. I am in the market for observatories. Observatory is a really good room for us. We have so many stars, but I do like opening up, keeping the draft very open here on the east side, now that we've pointed the reading nook over to the left. So let's take the hallway and let's go ahead and draft in that direction. We'll follow the draft to the east, which is my proclivity, and we'll draft the corner first. Corner first, because that gives us an idea about whether we are headed up the east wing straight away. This is interesting. Geist bedroom versus solarium versus office. The solarium could be really fun right off to start this, just to start the day with a solarium, and that would make the library more likely to come up in a draft. And we certainly want, like I said, we want as many shots at a bookshop as we can get. We still have the drafting studio, as I'm checking my notes here. The drafting studio has one more room that we need to add. It would mean that rooms like the workshop are going to be harder to come by, as the standard and not standard, but yeah, well, is it standard? Common and uncommon. What's the terminology, actually? I'm having a kind of a brain fart moment here. We have unusual and rare, and then underneath that are, I think it's common and standard, but I can't say that super confidently. We could also, I think it's actually not the office, now that I think of it, because we have 271 gold. The only reason I would take the office would be to make sure I get up the east wing. But when we have this door, we have this hallway door that could get us over to the east wing still. I think we're actually choosing between the two dead ends here. Which one do we feel is more useful? Do we want to take the dice right off the bat? Or do we want to buff up that all of our unusual and rare rooms? We are in the market for a library, and we are in the market for a drafting studio, but there are a lot of unusual and rare rooms that we're not in the market for. I don't really want, the rarer red rooms, the furnace and whatnot. I don't want the rarer, Chamber of Mirrors wouldn't be terrible. It's a good resource room, presuming that we get keys, which we want a lot of keys. But we would have to get, the right layout for the rest of the house around it. But yeah, I feel like a lot of unusual and rare rooms are just not ones that we are as interested in. I don't know. Maybe I will take just a moment to look at my floor plans here. I suppose one reason would be that the bookshop itself is rare. We know that we're going to get the library from the reading nook, and then... But the thing is, the library already has that buff of giving the more unusual and rare rooms a higher chance on its own, right? We don't need the solarium for that, right? Or does it stack with the buff from the library? I don't know for sure. Maybe if I had more green room synergy, I might do this today, but I'm feeling like I want the dice. I think that having those two dice is just always good. It's just the Geist bedroom has become such a good, the fact that it's at common as well. I'm going to take the Geist bedroom here. I feel like the solarium is it's not the Southern Cross, but it kind of feels at this point, because we've made so many changes with the conservatory, and we've made rooms that we want to see more commonly anyways, like the workshop and the rumpus room. Those are already set to common. I feel like the solarium is kind of mucking with those plans. So I think we take the Geist bedroom in response. And now we get a chance to take the spare master bedroom if we so choose. And I think I will. It makes, I think this is a sufficient choice here. We're not going to get that many steps, but hey, any steps on top of what we were already getting from having a spare bedroom is great. And plus we get to look around and see what there is new in our basically new room. Just we don't get the maximum. We just don't get an insane amount of steps out of it. But hey, like I said, it's all extra. So I'm not going to spend a die in this situation. Let's check out our new our new spare master bedroom. Oh man, it's so fancy, guys. Look at this. Oh, we got the freaking emblem up here. All right. Is there actually anything to interact with? I don't immediately sense that there is. And it would seem this is about what I would have guessed. Unless there is some secret that I haven't found yet, it does look like there isn't anything new. Unless we can interact with any of these books. I think it is just a spare master bedroom. Or, oh, wait a second. No, never mind. I think I saw the hand icon. It's the door. I can draft from over here. Okay. All right, let's keep on drafting then. Nothing, doesn't seem like there is anything to find. Oh, we have a ceiling fan. The ceiling fan, I feel like, is in a bit of an awkward spot here with the way that this canopy, or I don't know what it's called when this is over your bed like this. But yeah. Regardless of the layout of the spare master bedroom, I'll let others who are more who have more expertise in the layout of floor plans, or not the layout of floor plans, the layout of rooms. I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say here. I'm gonna put the ceiling fan and its awkward placement out of my mind as we try to decide whether we're going to pick between a chapel and a bedroom and a commissary. This commissary, I want it, but it's also pointing the wrong way. But maybe I still take it. I do wish I had myself an ornate compass. That would be fantastic. But there's part of me that just wants to take a chapel to give myself the doorways here, and I think I will do that. We don't care about the tithe at all, and I don't think I want to spend a die here. I think I just want to give myself all the rooms. So we'll pass on the commissary for the moment. Plus, the commissary is just a little less valuable because we know that we already have a magnifying glass. So let's take the chapel, and that will. We could have taken the bedroom there. Because, but really the downside of the chapel is just not. We have 270 coins. Who cares about losing a few here and there from the chapel? It's fine. We still have this Mantle of the Night. We're looking for the Armory to show up at some point. Wondering if the Armory is going to have the king on his throne that was mentioned. We had a list that we found, the other important discovery of room 46. We haven't really talked about the discoveries there. But one of them was the list of sanctum keys. And there's a couple that I'm not sure about, including that king on his throne, because I can't think of any room really that has a king on a throne, at least not in the way that I have been thinking about it yet. So we'll see if that shows up at some point here. Yo, that's a library. Okay, we're going to miss out on that other room, the East Wing rank 2 room, but that's totally fine. Because I'm going to take a library here, because that gets us more shots at a bookshop. And that's perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping would happen. We got so lucky here. We got so lucky to get a library before drafting out of the reading nook. That's amazing. And yeah, let's take it. Let's take it. We miss out on our full room, 45 room dream. But that's fine. And we also get a treasure map. Hello. When we already have a shovel. Are we getting lucky or what? Okay, West Wing rank 5. We can make it over there. We will do our best to make it over there. We have the Sightseer's Guide to Reddington that we checked out just because I didn't know what else to check out. Oh yeah, it does keep track of the different days that you have borrowed this book. The Sightseer's Guide to Reddington. What information would there be in this book? I suspect, well, my only guess at the moment is that this would have information related to sigils. That feels like the next big hurdle in our in the game is to figure out all the sigils. Find the sanctum keys and figure out the sigils. And maybe there's information in this book if we peruse this long enough, information that would help clue us into all of the ins and outs of the sigils. Like, this map feels like it should be significant. We have Angel Tower. I think we can read basically all of this without the magnifying glass. I guess it helps, though. Ares River. Burrow's End. Botanical Gardens. Tanner Fork. Tanner Fork has been an important location in terms of figuring out a new clue. Featherfall Keep. Like, when I first read this book, I was thinking, are we actually going to be... Because the world of the Mount Holly estate was starting to expand in ways that I had not previously anticipated, and I thought, are they actually going to take us to some of these locations? At this point now, I'm starting to think that probably not. We're probably not going off the estate. But this information has got to be important somehow, right? It's not the kind of game that feels like you just have a book simply for lore. Like, it feels like almost everything is utilized in at least some way. Even a book like The Red Prince, you end up looking for a certain word on a certain page and working it into a clue. This Featherfall Keep. This wouldn't be the... there's a structure that we've seen down below. Through one of the windows, we found that first red letter. And down in the... Not the precipice, but it's like the underpass or something. It's next to the inner sanctum. And that we looked through the window that had the shape of the Arinda Ares core, and then we saw a structure down there. Is this the structure that's been recreated? Is it a replica of Featherfall Keep? That would sort of make sense, because I guess it's the former home of Lord William Epson. So we've got, of course, our mother, correct, is from... Let's see, our mother is the son of Simon and Clara, Lady Epson. So the Epson lineage we're connected to. Of course, we're connected to the Epson lineage. I just for a second had thought our mother had come strictly from the Epson side, but she's half Epson, half Sinclair. We know that we've got this 100 Bells tea room, which still could be more significant than I realize. Like, we know that it's like one of the places that there were meetups going on between... This is where the details of who was meeting who at the 100 Bells tea room. I might need to review that. But does it help us in solving any puzzle or any other mystery? Not sure. Just checking to see if there's any details or like, I looked for a second that there might be some words scribbled in some of these illustrations. Like, it looked like there could be some word here, but it doesn't really look readable. And when it's meant to be read with the magnifying glass, they make it very readable. It's usually very obvious. Like, the other thing that we found in room 46 is this geography puzzle, where we have to pin the right numbers in the right countries, and maybe even pin them in the right location in the country, but I'm not sure it's going to go that detailed on us. By the way, I think I've realized what I was doing wrong there, or what I need to be doing instead. I was just trying to use the order that was shown on the mantle of the fireplace to order the sigils. However, I remembered that in the 2 rooms that we've opened so far, down in the inner sanctum, there are postcards there are postcards that I think Sinclair Herbert mentions the fact that he was making he was going to 8 places in 8 months or something like that. I think that's the puzzle. The whole point is of opening these sanctum doors is to figure out what postcards are in those rooms so we know in what order each of the countries, each of the realms were visited. I think that's what we're supposed to be looking for. Yeah, I had that realization off camera or as I was editing maybe, and like, oh, of course, it's not the mantle fireplace order. That's what we're aiming for, I think. But I'm not sure if this map here, like, could this factor into the geography puzzle in some way? Like, if we know that the postcard says that Sinclair went to the 100 Bells during one of his trips, or if he went through Tanner Fork. Like, do we need to know that these locations are laid out in this particular way on this map and then replicate that on the board in room 46? I feel like I'm starting to overthink. That is almost certainly some overthinking, but that's what we like to have fun with here. It's part of the process of figuring everything out, and you all getting to laugh at me thinking these crazy ideas, some of which do pan out, a lot of which don't. We'll look at our upgrade discs are up to 14 now, red letters up to 7, and we're going to start upping that sanctum key count. We have found more than 2 sanctum keys, but we've only used 2. And that's what that is counting there, of course. I think we might have looked at this last time, but we, of course, have our full contraptions list now, which feels nice. Still need one more stamp. Might have to wait until we get one of those postcards in one of those sanctum rooms. And okay, there we go. So now let's go ahead and give it a shot. The library, discover less common floor plans while drafting in the library. I'm going to draft here and see if we can get, we have our fingers crossed now every time that we draft from the library because we're looking for a bookshop. Dang it. However, that's a drafting studio. I think I settle for that rather than using a redraw here. We have another chance at a library with the reading nook, and so I will save my dice for that room simply because the drafting studio lets us complete our collection, right? Yeah, and we don't need the gems from the gallery, and I don't spend the brain power on the gallery. At some point, we need to get back to the gallery and at least fool around. I think probably whatever breakthrough that I'm going to have in the gallery is going to come from me simply playing with the letters on the wall just to kind of, because that's kind of how I figured out this 7-letter puzzle was I eventually went through the letter combinations and had an idea about what word it could be based on what letters I was seeing. So I feel like that kind of breakthrough is going to happen eventually. If we're going to have that breakthrough, we do need to draft the gallery and actually go in there again. But we're going to take the drafting studio, and we're still waiting. We're still waiting to actually draft the room that we added last time, which was the kennel. This is going to be a tough choice here, guys. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm going to mull this one over for a few minutes. Let's go with the vestibule. How about that? How about we pick the vestibule? The floor plans from, unless they're going to surprise us with some new additions, some surprise new additions that get added to the drafting studio after you have drained the current drafting studio pool. All the new rooms, though, have been added. Let's check out the flavor text for our new addition. The vestibule, and ornately... Oh, we already have read this, though, right? Because you get the flavor text when you're drafting. But we'll read it again. If I can. If I can actually pronounce and alliterate these words. An ornately framed, yet modestly sized hall. It had served as the original antechamber in the old days, before eventually being removed from the estate for having doors that were prone to becoming stuck. I did forget that super awesome detail about it being the original antechamber. That's really cool. So we have both the kennel and the vestibule that we're looking to get our hands on at some point here. Do I just continue? I think we'll just continue, and when we run out of keys, that's when we can head back and draft through the reading nook. Because we got plenty of gems and plenty of coins. There's no reason for us to stop here until the house tells us to stop. Okay. we might just keep heading on up the east wing here. I think I will take the workshop because we might want to make a burning glass or some other invention at some point. So I like getting the workshop, and that feels fine. That feels fine. I am okay with that situation. We get a battery. Battery would allow us to potentially make a jackhammer at some point. A jackhammer, though, when you have so many gems, it does get you dice. I have to remember the jackhammer gets you dice. And having too many dice is not really that much of a problem. Maid's chamber versus kitchen versus courtyard. We might just take a courtyard here and add another gem to our pile. And also there are dig sites. When we have a shovel, those are good. Dig sites that get us keys especially would be awesome. That's why I wouldn't, a jackhammer wouldn't be nearly as good as, say, a detector shovel. For us, a detector shovel today would be awesome because we kind of need keys at this point. I'll take the courtyard here. And we will pick up our gems as we always do, except the times when I forget. And we'll do our digging. Give me that old shoe. Get into my... Where's an old shoe go, actually? Because it doesn't go in your inventory. Where does it actually disappear to? Who knows? Okay, I feel like we're going to run into some locked doors here. Oh, we did not run into all the locked doors. A casino, huh? I kind of do need a place to spend my gold. Do I just slam that 100 roulette spin right now? I think so. We get additional coins from the casino as well. And yeah, I think we do that. As opposed to an observatory, the main reason to take an observatory these days is just the fact that it's so likely to give you 5 gems. So it's a real nice source of gems, but we still have 17 gems. So I will take the casino and guarantee at least some gold sink. And I think we just do the spin now because we could get stuff that will be useful for our draft, such as keys. Correct? So let's go ahead and do that spin. Wager 100. Let's go. Because we gotta spend these coins somehow. Because we are not getting a freezer today. No, I thought I got 4 allowance tokens. I thought it looked like it was just gonna barely fall into that 4 allowance token slot, and I was gonna be so happy. And then nothing. I think the same argument applies. I don't want to pick up these coins because maybe there's a chance that we get a laundry room, and we do shenanigans with a laundry room. So I'm not going to do that yet. This is where I will take a commissary because, again, we want places to spend our coins. So I like that over... A corridor would be interesting here because the corridor is actually at maximum value. This is probably the most value that we would ever get out of a corridor that points into rank 8, guaranteeing us an unlocked door at rank 8. That could be pretty sweet. Is that still better than just picking up a commissary? Like, I need ways to spend my gold, man. I don't want to waste 171 gold today. And I still have the gold back in the entrance hall. I have the gold that's sitting here in the casino. Let's take the commissary. It might sort of make the house layout here a little bit weird, but I'm not really concerned with that at the moment because I am more concerned with picking up... Oh, wait a second. Yo, did we not do a special order? Am I tripping? We might not have done a special order. Because there's no magnifying glass here. Huh. I could have sworn that we did a special order. But maybe we didn't. All right, we're going to buy all the things. And we will see what, if any, things get... What, if any, things get made into contraptions. We could make a detector shovel right away, but that would mean that we're not getting a burning glass, and we might need a burning glass to interact with the apple orchard sundial. So we're not going to make that detector shovel just yet, but that would make it so much nicer in terms of getting keys. Before I buy those gems, let's see if we can draft this door to the commissary. Okay, it is locked as well. So we're turning tail here and heading back to the early ranks. I probably just want to buy these gems, right? 15 coins, which we're going to get back when we pick up the coins in the casino. And of course, we still have the coins in the entrance hall. So let's spend the coins and get gems. Even if we're not getting a coupon book discount, that's fine, because we have so many freaking coins. And we will pick these up now from the casino. Okay, so now we just head back, because we have nowhere else to go. We will head back, though, to the reading nook before we draft from the chapel, I think. And just to be sure here, we're not making any... I don't want to make any contraptions just yet. We should end up with plenty of steps, assuming we get our hands on a kitchen at some point. Yeah, let's just go back to the entrance hall and draft our second library and see if it gets us a bookshop. And then we can decide what to do from there. Paying the extra tithe in the chapel ain't no thing. We don't care. The other thing that we could do here... There's a trunk here. Look at that. The other thing to do in... Ooh, a secret garden key. All right. Steps. Steps get. The nook is also a room of interest to us regarding this low case clue that we've been informed about from a new clue. And what I'm wondering... The only thing... Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Bro, you gotta be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. Yo. I never saw this before. What the hell? I have never seen this before. I don't know if it's super helpful to us, but I don't remember this being here. This was not here at the beginning of the game, right? I'm gonna have to go back and check my footage now. But I do not remember this book being here. Look at this. We've got addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. We've kind of figured that out. And then there is this order of operations. Oh, I had never noticed that before. The order of operations is... It goes from the innermost circle... proceeding outwards. That's the order of operations. Oh. Now, it could be that my order of operations had always been based on... I had figured out... They had... It seems that there is a pattern in the way... I don't remember right now exactly how it works, but I think it's like addition and subtraction do happen first, generally speaking, and then you follow up with multiplication and division. But that could be simply because addition and subtraction you normally fall in the inner circles of the dartboard, and multiplication and division show up in the outer circles. It could be. Holy crap, dude. How long has this been here? I wonder. It's been so long since I've looked at this note, because it's one of these bits of direction that you get early in the game, and then you sort of forget about it because it's like this beginner tutorial thing that's just like, oh, you should have a scrap of paper and notes, a notepad to write on while you're going through the house. No duh, of course I know that that's a thing I'm going to do with a game like this, but there was actually a clue here. Or there's a clue that has appeared. I don't know. Billiard puzzle notes. Okay, now there is more on the right-hand page. Some of it is covered by this ribbon, unfortunately, but of course they've done that on purpose. I think it says Sinclair has many rare secrets that he will take to his grave. We can't see grave, but I'm reading in. Sinclair has many, I'm not sure what the fourth word is. Many rare secrets is the best that I can guess, that he will take to his grave. And then it looks like we've got a sketch of the antechamber. It says the antechamber appears to be sealed by all four sides. Must be a way to open. Okay. Well, obviously we've opened all four of those sides to the antechamber, so I don't think this is a clue. These are not really clues that help us a ton. We didn't need a lot of help with the billiard puzzle. We have been pretty much acing that one, except for one time, which I guess I didn't do. And this one doesn't seem to have anything that's going to add significance to our significance. It doesn't seem like it has anything noteworthy to help us proceed right now. But this sure feels like this is a low case clue. This feels like a low case clue that I had missed or I had failed to re-examine. I wonder if this note had changed. I'll have to check my footage later and see. Actually, I'm too curious. I'm going to check right now. I'm going to check my footage right this second and go back to like day one and see when was the first time I drafted a Nook. It was there. Oh my God, it was there. It was there this whole time. And I think from day one, I did not, my brain, my laser focused brain, hyper focused sometimes, completely took this as just a tutorial note. And I just didn't even, I guess I even, without even realizing it, just subconsciously counted out the possibility that they would include useful information, actual useful information, because I think we had not drafted a magnifying glass yet. That might have been the thing, right? We had not drafted the magnifying glass. It was day one. We hadn't done anything yet. So I didn't even look closely at this book down here, thinking that it had more information to it. I just thought, oh, that's their little fun sketch of a journal, and there's nothing more to it. Wow. Wow. Gosh. Re-examine everything. Re-examine and question everything, because what have you missed? Yeah. Okay, library time. Dang it. I was hoping the library would point upward. No such luck. But we do have the chapel that points over into rank 3, so this might still be fine if we get a bookshop that doesn't point in the right direction. If we get a bookshop at all, I will be happy. We might use our dice to re-roll at the bookshop or at the library. We're definitely taking the library, though. We're not taking either of those other two rooms. Not when we have... Oh, my God. There is a... Are we getting... I feel like we're getting super lucky with items here. In the library, for sure, we've gotten a trunk, which has a key, which I really need. A trunk and a treasure map in the library. That feels very, very unusual. So I feel like we're getting super lucky here. Don't know what book that I would pick here. I'm just going to randomly pick History of Arindia. But maybe I should look at New Clue again. Maybe that's the one we should just keep going back to. Pick one book randomly from the rest of the list, and then go back to a New Clue and re-examine it. That's what I'll do. I'll take a New Clue here, because who knows? If I missed that in the Nook, if I missed that little detail, what, pray tell, have I missed in a New Clue? Okay, now the one thing I could do is I could maybe try to get more dice in the rest of the house before drafting through the library. Just give myself as many shots as possible at a bookshop, but I'm not going to do that. Let's just go with what we've got here. Okay, it is not a bookshop, but there is a clock tower. The clock tower, we now know, I'm pretty sure we know now from this note in room 46, the clock tower has a chance to have a sanctum key. And it's not guaranteed, so we do want to get our hands on a bookshop and Realm and Rune, but we also want to get our hands on a Sanctum Key in the clock tower. And we need, in order to do that, we're going to need to take as many shots at drafting the clock tower as we can. So I think I would pick either the clock tower here, or I would redraw to try to get a bookshop. I think I will go ahead, though, and settle for the clock tower. It doesn't feel like settling at all, actually, because we now do have very clear direction on, or we have some much clearer direction on where to get Sanctum Keys, and these other goals that we have, like getting our hands on Realm and Rune. We only have the 2 dice, and there's no guarantee that we're going to get a bookshop to show up in one of those 2 rolls. So let's take the clock tower when we are pretty sure that this gets us a shot at a Sanctum Key. There's a chance that I've misinterpreted the clue somehow, that it doesn't actually mean. It's high atop, high among the clocks, right? Isn't that what it said? Something like that? We're going to take the clock tower. It's also just, a pretty useful room if we do end up getting some more tomorrow rooms. It just kind of, limits the draft a little bit, potentially, because of our floor layout is not my normal, what I consider to be optimal, trying to fill out the base. Oh my god, it's this item. We got another silver stopwatch. Oh boy. Does it? Okay, let me quickly check my notes to remind myself what this thing does again exactly. No Sanctum Key, unfortunately, but we do get the antique silver stopwatch. For the next 1 minute, you will not lose steps when entering rooms. That's an important one that I wanted to make sure of. If we don't lose steps, that's real nice. When opening doors, you don't use keys, and you don't spend gems while drafting special rooms. The key one in particular is very interesting, but the problem is we would almost use our full 60 seconds going back to the commissary and the courtyard. But would that be worth the risk? Or would we just start drafting at the chapel and try to get up into as many ranks as we could? If we did draft at the chapel, our goal would be to try to aim. Well, we want to get as many doors as possible from the chapel. We don't want to rush the decision at the chapel. Maybe we do aim for the courtyard and draft from there, because we know that that's a locked door, and we would be getting pretty good value from. We wouldn't be spending any steps to get back to the courtyard. It's just a matter of how much time we would have left, but we could just basically open that door and maybe take the most expensive room that's there. And then we would eventually, when we have to turn back to the chapel to continue drafting, we would basically be spending the same amount of steps that we're already spending to get from here to the chapel. At the same time, if we just draft from the chapel, we can draft as many expensive rooms as we want. Just draft as many expensive rooms as possible, or, as many rooms as you can, and keep going to get value from not spending any gems, if possible. But who knows? Like, maybe the best choice from the chapel would be like a den, just to give you as many doors as possible. Either way, you're getting value from this thing just for the fact that you're saving steps to get back to the chapel, if nothing else. I'm gonna go ahead, though. I'm gonna take the risk of going back to the. I'm gonna see how far away I can pick this up. The farthest that I can stand and still be close to the. Let's get as close as we can to the. Super over-optimize my positioning here for picking up the stopwatch. And the stopwatch is going to start as soon as I click away from its dialog box, I think, right? So we will go through the library, the reading nook, the entrance hall, the hallway. We're gonna make our way up to the courtyard if we can. We'll see if we run out of time. We might. If it looks like we're gonna run out of time, then maybe we'll turn around. Maybe we'll just stop at the chapel. If it takes us like 30 seconds to get to the chapel, then maybe we just draft from there and see how it goes. Either way, this is a nice little bonus, as long as it doesn't force us into some really bad decisions. That's the only thing I don't want to do. I don't want to overrush a decision here just because I want to get a free room and not spend any gems. We still have 19 gems. Don't waste... don't... You have plenty of gems to waste. Don't make a bad decision because you just want to squeeze a little bit of gem value out of the stopwatch. So we'll take this here and go. Oh my god, turn around. It starts the clock before it lets me turn around. All right. This takes so long. We've already spent 15 seconds before we get out of the freaking clock tower. We should draft from the chapel. We're never going to make it. We're just not going to make it to the dang courtyard. We're not going to make it there. I'm just going to draft from the chapel. And we're going to see what we get. Let's take a courtyard. And then we'll draft this way. And we'll take another courtyard. Because I need to make sure that we're drafting in the direction of... can I get past this door? That's the key card doesn't count. It only counts the spending gems part is the important part. A showroom. Yes, please. Give me a showroom and one more door, please. One more door. And we get... Oh, that takes us to... That takes us to the east... Sorry, the west wing. I didn't realize we were already at the west wing. Of course, the showroom is going under the foundation. Ooh, okay. That was cool. We got 2 free courtyards and a free showroom. But now we won't get a free garage if we decide to take a garage here. I don't really want to take a garage. I guess I take a pantry. But this is weird because I do want to draft the rest of these rooms that are in that I can get to, as many as I can in the base. And if we don't want to use a die here, we would have to take the pantry to do that. I kind of want to use a reroll though, because there is a treasure in the room just above here on the west wing. Rank 5 west wing has a treasure in it, and there's no guarantee that I'm going to be able to get through the courtyard. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have checked the showroom to see if we had an ornate compass. The showroom is potentially going to give us a lot of good stuff here. I think I'm okay spending some dice here to try to get like a west wing hall or a den or a courtyard. The garage would be nice, but we want to make sure we get onto the west wing. So, and if we get onto the west wing, we're going to have more chances at a garage. Also, though, we might be able to just buy a master key from the showroom, so we might not need the keys from the garage. I don't know what's in the showroom yet, so I can't bank on that because I didn't look. But I think I use a die here. I don't want to just completely... we got 2 dice, right? If I completely... If I'm not getting something I like on the first reroll, I can use another one. Is this really worth skipping a pantry, though? Is this really worth skipping over a pantry? Just because I want to be able to open... I want to have a door that points both north and south. I think it should be fine. We've got a den, we've got a west wing hall, we've got courtyards. This should be fine. I think I'm okay to spend the dice here. Oh my gosh, there's an armory. Shit. I mean, I guess I'll take the armory now. Because the showroom, there's a good chance that it has an ornate compass and a master key and other good stuff that's going to help get us... We got to take the armory here, right? This has to be an armory. I'm not going to be so greedy here to say, oh, I'm going to take a west wing hall to get myself as many doors as possible. This one I will settle for an armory. It's just now I'm wondering if we're going to need the gold. Now, with a showroom plus an armory, are we going to be able to afford everything? We'll find out, I guess. Armory time. Oh boy. Okay. Let's look at the showroom. There's actually not a master key, but there is an ornate compass. So that's great. We definitely want an ornate compass. And I think we also... I think we want these other 2 things, right? Maybe. We don't have to get... The ornate compass is the most pressing one because that is so useful in every single time you draft. But also... The chronograph is also good, but I don't know that we want it yet. Because we don't want to... I don't want it necessarily just yet. I think we can wait on both the chronograph and maybe the silver spoon. Because the silver spoon would be nice when we start digging. Because we want to be able to get double steps from turnips. But I think we should check now before we spend any more coins. We do have 42 coins in the entrance hall, which is important to note. But we want to see what's in the armory, right? We want to check out our new room before we do anything else. There are a bunch of cannonballs in here. Okay, where's the cannon? Fire the cannon! The armory does have a knight. I should have seen this one coming, right? You should have seen that there was going to be a knight. There's, in fact, a knight's shield, which we can purchase for 8. Okay, this is not, so far, this is not looking like the showroom with its super expensive luxury items. The Knight's Shield. Once per day while drafting, you can equip Knight's Shield to ignore the negative effect of any one red room. Oh. Oh. So, yeah. Basically, it's like a little mini shelter. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. We aren't... You know, the red rooms that I most like to ignore or get the, like, the weight room is probably the biggest negative effect. The archives as well. Those two are kind of similar in my mind in terms of big time downside. But the dark room is also a pretty significant one. So those 3 rooms are all... We've if you can get a shelter that covers those 3 rooms, that's, in my mind, the optimal way to go. Though that is getting maximum value out of your shelter. So only 8 coins for a knight's shield. We'll probably purchase that, but let's see what else there is to buy. The axe. And my axe. You may use the axe in the room directory to permanently remove the gem cost from one room. Purchase this item for 32 gold. Whoa. Well, that's a very powerful one. There's also another one here. Okay. What would we want if we were going to remove a gem cost from anything? What would we want it to be? The most expensive ones are, of course, the showroom is not bad. The showroom, now that we're getting so many coins pretty consistently, the showroom would be an okay one to just say, hey, I don't want to have to spend 2 gems on that, please. I don't think I would want to apply this to any of the green rooms, although making the courtyard free when you have 8 of them is even more gem value. But that shrine buff is going to wear off eventually. And we do have a couple blue rooms here that are really expensive. The first one that came to mind is this guy, the trophy room. That's a pretty nice bit of value there if taking away that gem cost. The downside with the trophy room is that you don't see it very often. It's unusual, and I also don't feel like we have seen it in our drafts until we've gotten up to like rank 8 at least. I haven't documented that religiously like I was at the start of the playthrough. I haven't been following the how many times or where we have observed the trophy room and its ability to be drafted. The other big one here, a couple big ones, are the vault as well as the attic. But those are rare rooms that are more common when we get something like Draxus the Dead. So that is really, really interesting to think about. Oh, the Rotunda also costs 3. Also a rare room. Rooms that we just don't see that much. So it could be that, like, if you're strictly trying to maximize your value, it might be a really good pick to choose something like the courtyard. How many days do we have left on our buff? 3 days still on Blessing of the Gardener. I think that includes today. correct? So it would be 2 more days after this. And for this draft, we already do have 19 gems. But imagine imagine tomorrow, we start the day fresh with a whole bunch of courtyards that we're going to be getting for free. Okay, we don't have to buy the axe just yet. Let's see what this one is. The Morning Star. Okay. Always will remind me of... It is called a Morning Star in Dark Souls, correct? The item that you get at... I think it's your starter item if you are a cleric, but you can also pick one up pretty early on in Firelink Shrine in one of the chests. But this can knock the locks off chests and trunks. Chests and trunks. And then tomorrow morning, gain 1 star. So it acts like a sledgehammer, but it sounds like it also works... Again, it works on 2 types, because there are 2 types of locked boxes, aren't there? There are the trunks that we can use the sledgehammer to open, but then there are chests that actually do require you to insert a key, and the sledgehammer doesn't interact with those. This interacts with both, and it gets you a star, because it's the Morning Star. And it's only 8 coins. So these cheaper ones, I don't see too much of a downside to picking up. Let's see, to pick up this one and the Knight would be 16 coins. Like we still have the 42 that are in. We can afford everything in the showroom as well as everything in the armory, I think. We've already purchased the ornate compass. So yeah, this is going to be nice. I think what I will definitely pick up is this Knight's shield for sure. I just don't know exactly how this works yet. It says while drafting, you can... I see, it's while drafting. So you would put this on while you're in the draft screen in order so when you pick like an archives or a dark room, it would apply that effect immediately when you pick that red room. That would be how that would work. Very cool. Very cool. Knight's shield. I really don't see a downside to picking up the mace either. These are just so cheap, right? It's just so cheap. Why not get it? The Morning Star. This is cool. And now we've drafted the Armory. A stone chamber fitted with ancient weapons and armor from the Second Era. This room appears to predate almost every other room in the house directory, and may in fact be an authentic floor plan from one of the lost strongholds of Arinda Ares. It is both a shop and a black print. So cool. It's only standard rarity. But this is only like the 2nd time that we've seen it. I think that's just because our draft pool is still maybe a little bit funky. I did make some adjustments in the conservatory to try to make the draft pool a little friendlier. I mean, our draft pool feels okay. It feels fine the way it is. Fine-ish. I don't know exactly what I'm thinking might be a problem with our draft pool, but that's besides the point. We're not going to worry about that right now. I will continue to mull over what we might want to use this axe on, and if we even want to spend the coins on that today. Probably do. Feels like something that would be very valuable to pick up. Okay, I want to draft the rest of the base here. So let's take the den. I certainly would be... Well, if I had to settle for a mailroom, I don't know how satisfied I would be. Because the mailroom is okay. The package in there is not terrible, especially if it has dice. And the kitchen would also be okay, because we could go back and pick up a silver spoon, and then we would definitely not worry about steps at all for the rest of the day. I guess salt shaker plus silver spoon, I'm guessing those would stack, correct? But I am going to take the den, because I want the doors. I'm going to do it. Not going to spend the dice here. Let's take the doors. And we would keep an eye out for trunks that we could now... Do we get the choice as to whether we want to use the Morning Star versus the sledgehammer? if it's a regular trunk. Okay. Do we take the storeroom here for the key? I think so. Observatory, just as a dead end, could also get us a key. And maybe it's the right pick because it could get us a key and it could get us gems and it could get us a whole bunch of other stuff. In addition to just continually upping our star count. I think, though, I like the guaranteed key, though, with the storeroom. It's not a guarantee with the observatory. With the storeroom, that's really all we need. In this draft right now, I just want to make sure we get as many keys as possible. Just lock those down. We're good on resources otherwise. Let's take the storeroom in a perfect dead-end location. And these coins I will pick up because we're going to be very likely spending most of our coins very soon. I still don't know that I would buy a chronograph just yet with my with so much draft still to go. But let's see what we get. Heading down the West Wing. I guess I'd have to take a West Wing haul if I want to draft every single room. And I think I do that. Neither the parlor or the bedroom is enticing enough of an option for me to want to just basically take a reroll here. That's essentially what the West Wing is acting like, so let's take it. And draft one more room. The metal detector is going off because we have a key or a coin somewhere, and my inability to immediately spot that key. Yeah, there we go. Coin down by the heater. All right, corner room. You want to give me a conservatory? No. But an observatory, I think we will take. Now we get to take our observatory over a closet. Yes, the closet could have dice, and it could have a key. But I think the observatory in this case makes more sense. Let's do it. Would I take the Southern Cross on a day like today? Because the Southern Cross could make rooms like the archives more likely, but I kind of want now to have the archives so I can get some value out of my Knight's Shield. Kind of wouldn't mind that. But let's see. We might not even get it. Ooh, we instead get Florealis. Now I will take Florealis, now that I know what it looks like. It's silly me before thinking that it was a, ooh, the slice. Should I have waited to... Actually, I don't know if the slice would count with the silver spoon. I don't know if it would. Twin Trunks, love to see that. Draxus the Dead. Do we take Draxus the Dead? That is a choice. I'm much more of a fan of Draxus the Dead than I am the Southern Cross. But I also Draxus the Dead. It would be making rooms like the vault and the attic more common. The attic wouldn't be terrible when you have a workshop. The attic's never terrible, right? The vault is sometimes terrible when you just don't need the coins. There is, though, this thing with the vault now. Apparently, there's supposed to be a sanctum key in here. And it makes me curious as to I guess we need to pick up another safety deposit box key somewhere. Maybe? Because we've only got the sanctum key from the music room and the sanctum key from the bottom of the reservoir. And I don't remember there being one in... There was definitely not a sanctum key in any of the safety deposit boxes that we've opened yet in the vault. The study would certainly be an awesome room to pick up on a day like today. So maybe just for the sake of making the study more common, that might be a good enough reason to pick up Draxus the Dead. We would also make a locksmith more common. A locksmith would be useful to us. So I think we'll pick up Draxus the Dead and we'll see how that feels. The kennel and the vestibule are not dead ends, so we would be making them a little less likely, I think, as well as the treasure trove, which we do want to keep getting the treasure trove, because even if we don't need the gold, we want to open those chests and get the clues inside. When are we gonna see the tunnel? God damn, this room is supposed to be standard. Where is this thing hiding? Don't tell me. But it must be one of these, like, you've got to draft it from a particular direction. I'm gonna take Draxus the Dead and we'll see how this goes. Let's do it. Draxus the Dead, smiley face. And any other important clues in the observatory that I have overlooked? Anything here that I need to re-examine? I think we now know. We now know the use of the further use of the fixed stars in its relation to a new clue. And other than that, I'm very curious to see how Florealis is going to interact with our courtyards. That's another reason to take the observatory, which I had forgotten about. Our courtyard Florealis interaction, which I don't think applies retroactively, unfortunately. But, okay, now we are ready to go back through these shops here, and I guess we will buy this, right? Because otherwise we don't really have a reason to come back in this direction. There's nothing to come back for down here. If we pick this up, we still have 60 coins, plus the coins that are back in the entrance hall, plus whatever coins we would dig up from the courtyards. And we would be able to afford the silver spoon, as well as one other item in... Well, we could buy 2 more items in the showroom, depending on where we are in the draft. We should be more than fine on steps now that we've got a salt shaker and we're going to have a silver spoon. Everything should be good. So let's pick up the axe, even though I'm not going to use it yet, because I just don't know yet what the best permanent gem cost removal room. What is my preferred option there, or my preferred choice? I don't think I take either the moon pendant or the chronograph yet, though. I'm going to just take the silver spoon. And now I feel good about having spent... Man, it is... That 270 coins can definitely evaporate more quickly than you might think, depending on how things go. Oh, and there was even a trunk here. And it does show the morning star there. That's awesome. Another key, yes. Keys, please. And now I will be happy with picking up coins. As well as turnips, or keys. Turnips or keys. Show me those dig site options. Oh my god, I'm a dingus. I'm a dingus. This is a security keycard door. Shit. I totally forgot about that when we were picking the armory. Now, we could still be saved here because we have the door that goes up through the commissary / courtyard. However, oh my god, it's a good thing we've got an ornate compass, because yeah, we're going to need that thing. In order to maneuver our draft back down to the rest of the house. Oh boy. Yeah, it's okay. We also, if the draft ends right this second, this is all still good because we have a magnifying glass and we have a detector, a metal detector. So we can make a burning glass in the workshop and we can go back out to the orchard and do the thing, hopefully do a thing with the sundial. I don't know exactly what needs to be done. Like, do we have to spin it into a particular position? Or do we just keep spinning until you can't spin it anymore? I didn't get that far because I only spun it like 2 times and then Cat Laser Brain just wandered off to another part of the estate. Okay, so we're going to have to rely on... I guess we're gonna do the digging over here in the other courtyard. But we're gonna have to rely on that last door. And I do think we will draft from the commissary, because if it's an elbow room, we want to be able to rotate that elbow room in the correct direction to get us into rank 8. It's a good thing. Okay, another key is awesome. Now I'm feeling pretty decent about our chances to continue this draft. So let's make the correct, let's chart the correct course up to back to the rooms in the northern part of the house on the east wing. We're still not making any contraptions just yet, but we will draft from the commissary. Let's do it. Ooh, I forgot I have a special key as well. Do I just use That could be cool to just use the secret garden here, because that also, the secret garden is nice because it opens 2 doors in the antechamber. And that's another room then that you have to maneuver through if you really have to. But at the same time, we don't really need that other door from the secret garden. We don't need the door that points down to the courtyard. It would be better, I think, if we get an elbow room or a T-shaped room that allows us to draft to rank 8, and then the chances are that that room is going to also be locked, and we would be able to use our secret garden key there. And then we would actually get 2 doors, one that goes to rank 8, one that goes to rank 9. I'm gonna just use a regular key here, and take the risk that we may not get a locked door at rank 8, but I'm gonna take that chance. There's a chance that we just don't get. No, I take that back. I was gonna say there's a chance that we get all dead ends, but I'm not sure that's true. Maybe it's happened. Maybe the game could give us rooms that are maybe not exact dead ends, but they function as a dead end because the door that you think goes to rank 8 actually is a security keycard door, right? That is a situation that could happen. So I think we'll still take that risk because I have the 1 die. It's a risk here, right? Because if you get a courtyard, it's like, okay, I can take a courtyard and I can definitely get into rank 8. Well, if it's a security door, not so fast. But like we said, if this is where the draft dead ends, if this is where the draft is over just because we get a little bit unlucky with security key cards, security doors, that is, then, you know, we still have the burning glass to make, and we can still hopefully get something done. And we've done stuff today. We have done things, but certainly there would be a lot of value left on the table. So there could be a world here where you're supposed to take the redraw and really try to maximize your chances that you don't get a security door, because this is your last, this is it. If you don't make this door work, your draft is actually over. I think we need to take that chance though. I feel like this is tough because the die is such a crucial resource. I don't want to throw away my last die when they're, you know, in the world where the courtyard, we pick the courtyard and it's not a security door, then we feel great that we have a die still to use for other situations. But if you don't use that die and you're sitting there with a security door, then it's like, well, I've got a die that's just went to waste. But if you use the die, what are the chances that you end up with options? Like, we still have how many courtyards in the pool after this? 4? We could just end up with another courtyard next to 2 dead ends. I feel like that's just as likely of a scenario, given the fact that we've picked Draxus the Dead. Which is why I think I need to take the chance here, because using the die, I don't think has a high enough probability of removing the chance of a security door. I think I just need to take the chance here. We haven't done any security room adjustments, so there's a very high likelihood, I don't know, very high. There is a strong likelihood that there's gonna be a security door here at the courtyard. And, you know, gosh, especially at rank 8, right? The chances that the door is gonna be locked has to be close to 100%, 80 to 90%. And then I don't know where the roll happens for a security door. Does it happen after the, like, is this a locked door? Take a roll. Okay, 80% chance that it's a locked door. Now that it's a locked door, is it a regular locked door or is it a security door? And is that like a 50-50 shot? I don't know. I don't know what the odds are. I don't know what the sampling is that's going on in the background. Under the hood of Blueprints, I'm gonna take the risk. I'm gonna take the risk for all the reasons I said. I feel like the die is not a good enough, it doesn't give me a good enough feeling, at least, and that's about as good as I can go on. Yeah, I don't feel like a security door would be less likely by rolling a die than by taking this courtyard here. I'm I'm gonna feel so sad in a moment when I have a courtyard that just has a security door. Oh my god, I hate this. I hate this. Fuck. Fuck. I see it. I see it. It's a security door. Damn it, man. Why? There could be a security key card in this trunk. This is about the last... Oh, there are also twin trunks in the entrance hall. I have forgotten about that. The draft is not dead just yet, ladies and gentlemen. Because... Look at those dice. Look at those wonderful dice there. That I'm not going to get to use unless I do happen to get lucky. And look at this Florealis, though. Getting us these wonderful extra gems. There's a coin here as well. Like we said, if this is where the draft dead ends, we at the very least have a burning glass. We still have things to do, but I did remember just now that there are a couple of trunks back at the entrance hall. So, I believe we've done all the digging and all the trunk opening up to this point. Now, do I have enough steps to do what I want to do here? If we don't get any more rooms, I have 29 steps. We're kind of running a bit low on steps. This might be the point where I should just make the burning glass, because I would be losing a magnifying glass and I would be losing a metal detector. Like there's a chance that the draft is not going anywhere anymore. I already have 5 keys. The only reason I would keep the metal detector was if I wanted to get more keys, because I have plenty of coins still in the entrance hall. I think I'm okay consuming my magnifying glass plus metal detector to make a burning glass, because we might want to just, if we don't get a security card in one of those twin trunks, there's no reason to come back here, and I can just head to the orchard. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Do y'all think, feel free to let me know if you think that was the right choice there. I don't usually ask for opinions on drafting, but if y'all think that it would have been better to roll the dice and get a different room there, I'd be curious to know which you would have picked. If you'd have taken the courtyard, or if you would have rolled your last die to try to get something else. In this instance, I will listen to some opinions on that. But let's go ahead and I guess we want to buy a moon pendant? I think so, right? There's no reason not to buy a moon pendant. These are all useful items to us. If we carry over these items into the next day, I don't see why we wouldn't want to do that. So we grab a moon pendant, right? The only reason we might not grab a moon pendant, we grab a moon pendant. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it while I'm here, because the chances are I'm not coming back. And we did pick up a clock tower, so we at least have a key going into tomorrow. And I guess we have our package. We never got a mailroom, so we still have our package waiting for us tomorrow as well. But who knows? We might get a key card here. There's a chance we get a key card in one of these trunks, so let's not finish off the... Let's not finish things off just yet. Let's see what we get. Yo, that's a key card. Okay, we're in business, folks. Maybe. We're down to 17 steps, but we can make it back to this first courtyard, and now we have a key card. Okay, we just want to get our hands on a... Okay, and we have keys as well. Our resource problems are solved. Now we will pick up our allowance. Our resource problems are solved. What we need now are steps. We need steps. So, oh my God, we are in business. Wow, the draft has new life. Just like that, my spirits have been completely flipped in the opposite direction. If we just get a kitchen, we're so set. That's all we need is just one kitchen. And then we're good to go. I cannot pick a dead end here. I would love to be able to take a Crown of the Blueprints to play around with. But I think we... Do we use a die here to... Because the Mount Holly gift shop doesn't do anything for us other than it gets us a door because we can rotate. However, the thing I need to remember... I need to remember the fine blueprint is what I was going to say. The fine print with the ornate compass is it only works on the first 3 options, correct? Once I redraw, I'm stuck with whatever direction things are facing. So I think for the moment, while we navigate out of this little cul-de-sac here, we need to make sure we navigate through this. So I'm gonna settle for the gift shop, and just because it gets us the door that keeps the draft going. I am so stoked though. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Now who knows? We'll keep checking the Mount Holly gift shop because who knows what might, like, it could be that Dirigiblocks gets patched in one day and I don't realize that there's been a new patch. So we should check to make sure that I don't miss a chance to buy Dirigiblocks. We need to get 8 trophies for the blue tents. 8 trophies. We're up to 4 now, right? Halfway there. We're halfway there. Oh my god, though. How in the world? How in the world? We can't use our special key. So we use a regular key, which we have lots of them now. Holy crap. And now we don't care about courtyards anymore because we actually have a frickin' security key. Security key guard. Oh my god. We just need steps. So a turnip. I would love to get a turnip from one of these dig sites. Would you like, if we get a turnip, just one single turnip is like 12 steps or 14 steps? Oh my god, we dug up a silver key? What? All right. I mean, that could be good. I may definitely want to do that when we get to the foundation. Dude, okay, this draft, all of a sudden, we are cooking. Holy crap. The gems that we get from Florealis, the gems that we get because it's a courtyard, everything is awesome. So now, only one way to go. And I don't want to use my silver key yet because we want to use it like at the top of the foundation, right? And then we would like take an archives because we have a knight's shield. That would be awesome. And we also have a key card now. We have a key card because of twin trunks. How clutch was that observatory? Are you kidding me? Hell yeah. All right. I mean, I'm going to sell for security, but we get to rotate this. So now we actually love security because we can turn up the volume, turn it up to maximum. Let's take it. We need steps still. At some point here, we need steps because, yeah, we need steps. But security. Okay, now security, we are back here for the first time since... Well, I don't know if it's the first time, but I certainly, we had figured out a little bit. We had put together a little bit of this. We had at least noticed Swan Song, right? The spare room, the walk-in closet, archives, nook, storeroom, office, nursery, and gallery. And that spells Swan Song. I did also receive a nudge that I might have moved on from this a bit quickly. I might have moved on from this a bit quickly, but I'm not exactly sure how I have moved on quickly. We have the 2 clues that got me to figure out that this spells Swan Song. Those 2 clues were, I'm going to check my notes. The clue that was out in the, not that, how did I open that up? I don't know. I was trying to type in my browser window here and started typing somewhere else. But what was the safe house? The safe house had this note that said delete it. And it had the letter A. delete it. And it was pointing at this monitor here that shows the archives. Delete it. What does that mean? And then we found in the attic, we had another note that I had overlooked for a very long time because it didn't look like you could walk back there. But we also had, the letter O here for the office. And then all the monitors were like scribbled out in red. What does that mean? Just like scribble out all of these monitors. Are we supposed to take into account? See, I had looked at the other monitors here and I had filled in, I at least had thought about the letters. Like here we see the library. So we have an L. The music room is an M. The wine cellar is W. Vault is V. And then the Nook again is N. And then what? My brain is getting a little bit distracted here looking at these VHS tapes. Seeing what's written on the VHS tapes. And is that important at all? Have I missed a clue? C-cam tape 2-3. C-cam tape 2-3. B-cam tape 4-5. A-cam tape 5-6. Are these important? Don't answer that. But, and then on the other side, so then at the bottom row, it's just that those letters don't feel like they spell anything. We go down here, we see, I think the hallway. Maybe it's the corridor. I might need to double check what room this is. It's a hallway, but I'm not sure which one. Then we have the security room, S, the showroom, S, the pool, P, the vault again, V, and the ballroom, B. Like, it could be that I need to take the time, like, snapshot all the screens here, and then fill in each of the letters. There's so many consonants in these other monitors outside of the 8 that are in the middle here that spell Swan Song. If you look at all the other monitors, they're basically all vowels, or sorry, consonants, right? So what could they possibly spell with just consonants? Maybe it would make sense, though, if I were just looking at all the letters, write them down so you can see them. I'm not going to do that right this second, but that is something maybe for a future notes review session. Okay, security level has been set to high. More security doors, more better now that we have a key card. And the other thing, we do want to do a special order. I think we keep special ordering the magnifying glass? Question mark? Do I even do that at this point? Well, before we get to that, we can actually do, I forgot we also have the remote terminal access. So why don't we do our laboratory experiment, and maybe that will help us with our steps situation. It could potentially do that. So let's see what experiments we get offered. And we get, I'm looking anxiously at, aha! Set your steps to 40 is on the list. What are our causes? Whenever you spend 2 or more gems drafting a room, each time you unlock or bypass a security door, when you draft a red room, lose 5 steps, and then. We could get very frisky with the we've done this before, right? The red room thing, lose 5 steps and then set your steps to 40. That's definitely fun. But I don't think that's what we're doing today, because, you know, it's just, I don't know. It feels like these others are more likely. I think the most likely one to happen is the 2 gems or more. That one we usually get to proc all the time. And I think that makes the most sense. Now, at the same time, there is this world where we start, you know, digging up turnips with our... We could always pause the experiment, right? We could pause the experiment. If we didn't want to have this effect, we could pause it. We could come back to the security room and pause the experiment. So I'm thinking, like, if you got like a whole bunch of turnips that all of a sudden your steps are set to 70 or 80, Like, you wouldn't want the experiment to be active anymore after you've already procced it one time. We definitely wanted to get it to proc once. And after that, it's, you know, maybe we want to keep going with it, maybe we don't. Now, interestingly, there is this security door that is back up in the courtyard up on the east wing, but I don't think we can get to it right now. I don't think we can get there. So we would be, you know, expecting there to be other security doors for us to open, which is a good chance now that we've set the security level to high. So either one of these might be like equal probability in which one is going to proc. Now, I don't think I can back out of this screen, right? I can't like escape out of this. Once I'm here, I have to pick my experiment, I think. I was just going to quickly check if the door in the security room was a security door. I wanted to double check that because I did not. I can't say for sure, although I could look at my footage. This is a little bit of a cheat, but I can look at my previous footage to see. It certainly is a little bit of a cheat, but when you are recording a series for YouTube and you're putting in the time and effort to edit and all these other things, I feel like it's a little bit of an extra perk that I have earned to be able to look at my footage and see whether this door in the security room was actually locked, or I should say whether it was a security door. And as I suspected, I'm looking at the screenshot here, or the freeze frame, and I can see that it is a regular door. So with that in mind, I think I'm going to pick the 2 or more gems while drafting a room. We just really need this to proc one time. If I just get 1 proc out of this experiment, I'm going to be happy. And so I think the 2 gems one is probably going to be the easiest one for us to satisfy. So let's see if we can get that to proc. And if we get that to proc once, I might just turn right back around and turn it off. Maybe. Especially if I dig up some turnips pretty soon, or if I get a kitchen that has some chef salad in it. So, okay, let's draft from security and see what we get, because we can probably, we could take another observatory, or we could take a locksmith. I feel less enthused about a locksmith though now that we're at this point in the draft where we have 5 keys and we have a key card. So I don't really feel as desperate for that. I just really need to be able to spend 2 gems on a room. So do we just take the observatory though? The observatory could get us steps with another slice. It could also make our apples more delicious. But we don't really need like additional gems from the observatory. And I'm not really looking for the Southern Cross. Like, this could just be a closet, but that would just be getting us a die. I almost just want to reroll here, to be honest. I almost want to use a reroll in this spot, because I'm okay putting a dead end here if I have to, because we still have the 2 doors out of the foundation. And if we can get steps from them, there's eventually that courtyard door that now opens. Because it's a security keycard door. Oh my god. How hype getting that keycard from that chest in the entrance hall. Oh my god. I think this is where you're supposed to use a die. When you're not thrilled, you're just not thrilled with the options, use a die. We just won't be able to use our ornate compass, but that's okay. I'm all right with that. We could use our knight's shield, to pick a laboratory. Amazing. Nursery gets us steps. I think I take the nursery, because just having the additional steps, now is when I wish I could change my experiment, because I could take these additional steps and I could go and make it to the courtyard, right? I would have 17 steps and I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'd have more than enough to get back to the courtyard at rank 7. And then if my experiment procced off of a security door, I would be in business. But no such luck here. But we do get a nursery, which is fine. I think that is fine. Because like we said, we still have the 2 doors coming out of the foundation. And this gets us to that courtyard in any case, right? Getting back to that courtyard and being able to just draft it is going to be good for us. What is maybe less good is going in to get a gem, going in to get a 34th gem when you're still just at 17 steps. So let's hold off on going into the nursery because we already got the proc that we care about the most, which is the steps. And so what we'll do is we will draft the foundation. We will draft here first. Do we care which door we draft first? I guess we could use our Knight's Shield. We might use like our silver key here if this door is locked, and hopefully get like an archives or a weight room and use our Knight's Shield for one of those. So let's draft this door first and use our silver key. Let's do it. Or we can do a closed exhibit. And that's actually perfect because we have a key card. And now I really wish that I would have picked that other experiment. I so wish. I forget about the closed exhibit now is in our house. That probably should have made our laboratory experiment a different choice. I think I do take this, though, over the dark room. I don't need to use the Knight's Shield if I'm taking the closed exhibit. I just don't get a paper crown because of the nursery. But that's fine. I don't think I need a paper crown. We just need doors. That's really all we care about here. Of course, the other option here is to just take the courtyard. And maybe I'm being silly because I'm like, ooh, closed exhibit has security doors. I don't really care about the security doors when my experiment doesn't proc off of them. So the right choice is actually probably the courtyard because it has dig sites. And it goes with our Florealis buff. Like, we have so many gems at this point. Unless we get a study, we don't really need the gems. But there are, like, you know, items to be had, like trunks and stuff in the courtyard. And because we have the ornate compass, that's really what makes the choice here, right? The fact that you can just point the courtyard any way you want it. Why not just take the courtyard instead of the closed exhibit? Because it's a strictly better option in this case if you're not able to get your hands on the paper crown. Like, there's a world where you might say, oh, let me take the closed exhibit here and I'll get a room behind the paper crown that lets you deactivate the security system. But I don't need the paper crown here. That's not what I'm going for. I just really need steps and doors. So we're going to take the courtyard. We're going to do it. Because we have 5 keys still. And there's a good chance that we get security doors in that courtyard that we draft. We can even check the other door and see if it is a regular door for the record. I'm not digging these dig sites in the foundation just yet because I'd rather proc my experiment once and then dig them for turnips. So let's draft this other door. Still don't get a 2-gem room, but we do get an observatory here, which I think is fine. Or we just take a servant's quarters, and that actually just says we never have to worry about keys again, and it gets us steps. I just remembered that. Okay, actually the servant's quarters is perfect. Because now we really don't worry about keys anymore, ever. And we actually get a shit ton of steps. A shit ton, I say. It gets us 8. It's not a shit ton. For a second, I was like, it's going to give us 8 steps for every bedroom in our house. That's a mix-up of the... You're mixing up the servant's quarters effect along... Imagine if you could combine the effects of some of these rooms with some special item. So you get every effect from every bedroom that you have drafted so far. They just continually stack onto one another. Every bedroom adds its effect to the next. That would be probably way too overpowered. This feels like a pretty... again, though, the laboratory being offered here with the Knight's Shield. Hilarious. All right, this feels like a perfect servant's quarters, though. And now, I mean, I still keep the experiment because I have less than 40 steps. So the experiment is still upside for me, but we will definitely step inside this room to take these keys. We don't need to worry about this admin key at the moment or the 12 major keys. Oh, and I forgot there's a dig site. I thought it almost bugged out on me. I forgot that we have a treasure map. Oh my God, dude. Oh my god, that we would have gotten that with any room, I presume. But holy shit. Give me that Mount Holly's coffers, please. I assume. Unless we're getting another Baron's Bafflers. But it looks like it is a coffers. A gold coffers, which is fine. 40 coins is fine by me. Not that we have anything to spend it on, but, you know, hey. Hey, who knows? Maybe we'll do something with these coins. Okay, let's just keep drafting then. Now, we will... I mean, man, do I leave? I feel like I leave these dig sites. Because if I just dig up one turnip, I'm so close. Like, I feel like I can get so much more value from these. Now that I have 22 steps, I feel a lot more confident about... I want to draft the courtyard first. I just want to get one experiment proc. And then we can say that we have... Then we can feel better about turning off our experiment. For a second, I was like, is there any dig site in this courtyard? There's one dig site here, which I'm also going to save. There's no reason for us to not pick up gems, I don't think. I think we just pick these up. This Florealis buff is so freaking good, though. With all these courtyards, my god. Let's see, though, what we get through... Let's go into rank 6 or 7 first. Interesting. Well... We take a cloister here, right? And then we would hope to get a kitchen or whatever other shop so we can get our hands on and buff our allowance even more. I think we take the cloister over the attic. This would set our steps. Either one of them sets our steps to 40. And I think that at that point, I would turn the experiment off. I would go to security and turn it off and then do our digging. And then we hope to get a kitchen and just boost our steps through the roof and we're good to go for the rest of the day. That feels fine to me. There's going to be dig sites in the cloister as well, correct? And I don't think we are... I just want to get the cloister here. This makes sense for what we're trying to do. The attic would get us items, obviously, but we don't need resource-related items. And I don't think I'm desperate for any particular contraption other than the one we've already made, which is the burning glass. So yeah, cloister it is. And that's our experiment proc. So we do have to we have to go back to security to actually I should have dug up the thing in the courtyard. Now is when I will do my digging. Yes? I'm gonna do my digging now. And I don't know, it might be... the thing is, if I don't get anything from these dig sites, or if I don't get a turnip from these dig sites, maybe I leave the experiment on? Maybe? Was it just these two? I feel like I'm getting less dig sites than normal today. But I think now is when we deactivate the experiment. I'm going to turn it off, and maybe we will think about turning it back on if we're super unlucky with this side of the house. But I have to remember we also have the secret garden key, right? The secret garden key is going to eventually probably get us a whole crap load of steps. So I think this is the point where we don't need the experiment anymore. We also have a nursery that's online. This is, I think, the correct move. Deactivate this so we're not worrying about messing up our steps because we have this, because we want to buy a 2-gem room. Pause experiment, please. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so experiment paused, and now we can continue in... I guess we can do... What? Where do we draft next? The first thing I can do is I can dig up this... I have to go to at least the courtyard, so we can dig up this one dig site here. And get a brick. Because she's a brick house. Does this decision matter whether I'm drafting from the courtyard or whether I'm drafting from the cloister? It probably doesn't matter. So let's just draft from the courtyard and see what we get here. There's a laundry room. Oh my god. Interesting. Okay, well, it's a laundry room that's not going to have any of the super fancy boiler room connected options. And we don't really need this at this point, do we? We don't really need this. We're so set on all of our resources. We probably just settle for a mailroom, even though, like, the mailroom potentially gets us dice, which we do care about. So I guess I take the mailroom. It also does count as a tomorrow room toward our clock tower, correct? So this is a good pickup for us. Let's take the mailroom here. And there's even a trunk in here. What in the heck? Have I ever seen a trunk before in the mailroom? Oh, look at all these wonderful coins that we're never going to spend. Oh, wow. Okay, you can get a lockpick kit. Okay, lockpick kit. Oh my god, guys, look at how this draft was close to being over. This draft was about to be Dunskies. And look where we are now. Starter from the bottom. I don't think there's anything else to check in the mailroom. So, steps are good. Let's continue. And of course, oh, and Florealis buff applies to the cloister as well. Because of course it does. Our dig sites are not being super profitable for us. I just need, there we go. There we go. And it does stack. You get the salt shaker first, and then you double your steps. Optimal ordering as I would expect from our blueprints development team. Thank you very much for that. Okay, and now we're feeling good about deactivating our experiment. So, again, I don't think it really matters too much where we go from here. We just really want to get as many shops as possible, right? So, do I even like use all my dice to get shops? I'm not going to use all my dice just to get shops. We'll think about strategically using dice because we're at 42 allowance. We want to add 2 more to our allowance, but that's not the be all end all in our decision making. Let's just fill out the bottom ranks first here, or the rank that is closer to us. These options are not particularly thrilling, but there is a locksmith that's next to the cloister. And so maybe we just take this to permanently add 2 to our allowance. Probably fine, because we're not really missing out on anything else here with either the parlor or the wine cellar. But I don't want to spend one of my 2 dice here when we have 3 more doors left to draft in the house. So let's do a locksmith here. Take our shop connected to the cloister. Boom. We may as well take a look at the special key and buy it. There's no reason not to. I guess if you're really overthinking this, there is a reason not to, because we have a moon pendant. And so this is one more thing to add to that pool of items that could be taken to the next day by the moon pendant if you don't use it. We do actually get a prism key. Which is kind of what I was hoping for, I think. But I also don't know exactly when or where I would use the prism key. Would I use it here at the cloister for another cloister? Let's go ahead and draft, though, let's draft this direction, and maybe we'll get a kitchen offered here, perhaps. This is where I will not use the prism key. I don't want to use if I'm going to use the prism key, it's going to be on, well, let's see if this door up here, oh, it's security. So we cannot use the prism key on this door. If we were going to use it in the cloister, we'd have to use it on the next door. And because it's kind of in a little cubby hole there next, like the commissary is on the other side, it doesn't quite make sense to get another green room, like another cloister in a spot where you only have one of the doors that you're going to draft out of it. So yeah, we just go ahead and we'll draft this door with a lockpick and then a regular key. There's a study. Okay, let's take it, because otherwise these gems are going to waste. Perfect. Definitely don't need a vault. The drawing room is of interest to me because I kind of want to examine the chair more closely because of the Alzara cutscene, which hinted at the fact that that chair has been passed down through the generations and used by many various figures here at the house, including apparently ourselves in the future. A very old and worn out Simon in the future who's been overseeing the estate all this time. I think we definitely take the study, though. Study it is. And we even get just a gem sitting here on the desk, as well as the gem that is in the safe. Cool, cool, cool. And now we have so many re-rolls. Holy crap. And in fact, now there is a reason. I have figured out something important. We'll draft from here. But something important that I don't remember what episode it was, if it was last episode or the one before, but I was using the reroll option with the study, and I ran out of rerolls, and I was very puzzled. Huh? What happened? And I should have known, or I kind of realized in editing, or it was either in editing or it was because somebody in the comments had kind of said, like, it's not a bug. And so as soon as I had confirmation that it was not a bug, I remembered the fact that there are these books down here in the bottom right that show up when you have the study, and then as soon as you re-roll, you get one of them goes away. You lose one of your books, and so you only have 8. You don't have infinite re-rolls from the study. You only have 8 per draft. So it is kind of an important thing to think about in terms of like your dice. It's probably better to use your gem re-rolls first because you only get 8 of those during a draft. And yeah, you want to be able to save those dice, because the dice will, like, you could, even if you spend all 8 of your rerolls with gems on this draft here at this door, you still are going to have 29 more gems to utilize in the next room. So it's actually better to use these gems first, presuming you have a lot more gems to spend after this room. Now, one thing I have kind of forgotten about is the fact that the showroom has a chronograph. We do have a chronograph in the showroom, and if we're able to get our hands on a bunch of steps here, it's probably a good idea for us to go get that chronograph. Although, do I want to be seeing tomorrow rooms yet? We're kind of getting to the end of the draft here. We probably want to pick up a chronograph. But I think right here, I don't... What do I want? Like, the treasure trove is interesting to me because of the intelligence, the clues that we get from these chests. Our draft is a little bit... We'd have to go all the way back around to that courtyard on the east wing. We'd have to go all the way back down and up the east wing in order to continue the draft, assuming we don't open up the antechamber. But we could open up the antechamber, because if we take the treasure trove, there's a good chance we can use the secret garden key next to the treasure trove. So maybe I should just take the treasure trove and we continually buff the amount of gold that we have there. The other option, though, is to just start using our redraws and aim for a kitchen, for example, or a T-shaped room like a courtyard that actually points me both to the left and the right. The thing to remember here, I always have to remind myself, I can redraw, but I can only use the ornate compass on the first set of floor plans. So if I redraw and I get offered some elbows, but they don't point the right way, then I may not be able to draft these rooms in the upper left-hand corner. Maybe those are not super important. I'm probably stressing about this decision too much, because the treasure trove is still a good room to continually buff that gold, even if you don't need it right now. And we would get the additional I'm going to go ahead and take the treasure trove. At the very least, I want to see, the thing I'm curious about is the fact that there is, oh, interesting. Okay, so it doesn't actually work. Huh, so this Morning Star does not affect this type of chest. Why does it say it can knock the locks off chests and trunks? Why is it saying two separate things there? It made me think that, oh, the game is being, like, I'm a very literal thinker when it comes to language. And so I was thinking that, okay, the trunks are the type of box that we see all the time in various rooms, and you can either use a key or you can use a sledgehammer. But this right here must be what they're referring to when they say a chest. Like, this must be a special type of box that can only be opened with a key or a Morning Star, except not. So now I don't know what the heck they were talking about. I mean, I'm still going to use the, we're still going to use the key here because we have plenty of keys. And we get a new note. Boxes marked with a moon symbol always contain false statements? Oh my god. What? This is marked with a moon symbol. So you're telling me, okay, here's the thing. So if this is a false statement, how do we trust that, like, this doesn't, I feel like this immediately rules itself out as being even, like, you just throw this note into the garbage because, okay, it's a green note. Like, we're supposed to be able to trust green notes. Do we know that? I don't know. They're green, so they're good, right? But let's assume for a second that green notes are supposed to be true. However, this is a green note that's in a moon box, which means it's supposed to be false, right? Except if it's a false note, then it's just contradicted itself, right? Because the fact that this thing is in the moon box, this is just messing with my head right now. I don't even know how to understand this. I got to sit down and talk to ChatGPT and help get some help figuring out what is the logic supposed to be here. If you have a statement in a moon box is supposed to always be false, that would make this a false statement, right? So that means boxes marked with these always contain false, with the moon symbol always contain false statements, except we have to say that's false, which means they always contain true statements. Is that the false? Is that the, what do we mean by false here? Because you could also say the false counterpart is boxes marked with the moon do not always contain false statements. That could be this is where I always get mixed up on contrapositive or inverse. Like, that's what I'm saying. What do we mean by false here? What logically does false mean? That one, I'm gonna take a screenshot. Okay, it was delayed, but I did press the right key. But that one confuses me, to say the least. And now I wish I had drafted something else, because I've added nothing but confusion to my repertoire. Oh, I can kind of walk back over here, huh? Does that let me spin the globe? That's what I was thinking. I realized, oh, there's a globe back there. Can I spin it? I don't think this is the room that has the king on his throne. But I also don't know now what room does have a king on his throne. I'm really gonna have to put some thought into this, because it did not seem like it was the Armory. It definitely did not seem like the Armory. So I'm gonna have to think about what that clue in the sanctum was all about. I would love it though, that clue that was in the room 46, I should say, that was talking about sanctum keys. What I'm really hoping though is that this door here is locked so that I can use a secret garden key. Thank you. Use that secret garden key now because, well, for two reasons. We spread the fruit, and we get fruit everywhere when we have a silver spoon and a salt shaker, which is awesome. But we also, at some point, we're probably gonna need to head back to the rest of the house to pick up that fruit, right? We're up here in the corner, and yeah, the secret garden is just the right pick. It's just a good one. Do I go to the secret garden now? Yes, I'll go here now, and we get our Florealis buff, which is getting me so many gems, but we do have a study, and these gems are probably going to get spent now. This draft was so close to being over, and now it's just steamrolling. I do want to go back and get a chronograph. That's the thing. That was the reason I was thinking of going back, because I don't want to. We can do our stuff here in the secret garden, which I will do now that I'm here. But I think if I was being slightly more efficient, I would have gone ahead and gone back and got the chronograph before stepping into the secret garden, because we do want to draft with a chronograph in hand. At this point, I think I do. Because even if we're not really going necessarily for the Tomorrow Rune buff as much as we are having the ability to rewind, right? The rewind is what you love to do. It's so powerful. You just have to be careful that you don't do what I did. Almost screwed up the I think it might have been 2 days ago, but whatever draft where I was unexpectedly meeting the end of my study rerolls, you just don't want to run out of study rerolls thinking that you're still going to be rerolling. So, okay, before we get that, how many steps does it take to get back? The thing is there's fruit now in the house. So we can go back and get a chronograph, and we still get a whole bunch of steps because of the fruit that's been spread. So don't stress about it. Just keep an eye out for the fruit that's around, and everything will be fine. Like this here, we just need basically one piece of fruit. Okay, maybe that's not super OP because I forgot that apples are not extra delicious. So that's good. 6 steps is good, but it's maybe not like, oh my god, orgasmic. But I think the presence of knowing that there's going to be so much fruit in each of these, the chances of fruit showing up in these rooms is going to make things. Now I am going to take the time to pick up this gem because that could come in handy with our study. But the presence of all this fruit does, I think, make it correct to go back and get your chronograph. And so once again, we have bought out the trophy room. Have we, the showroom. Have we done this now for the 3rd time? It's at least twice, right? That's good enough for now. I don't need to hunt through the rest of these rooms just yet. Looking for fruit. We can check in this courtyard, but otherwise let's head back to the secret garden. And we basically broke even on steps, I think, while also getting a chronograph added to our collection. Okay, we do have a prism key, but I'm not even sure if I could use the prism key here. Would it give me... I guess there would be green rooms like the solarium, right? That could show up. Or the conservatory. Oh, this is actually a perfect spot to use this, isn't it? I did not even think this far ahead, but this is actually the perfect use case for a prism key because it lets you get a conservatory. I think, right? We can double check this by looking at the room directory and looking at green rooms. I guess it could be a patio. I don't think it could be a terrace, but it rules out courtyard because we're in the corner. We can't get the courtyard. We can't get the cloister. We can't get the veranda. We might get the greenhouse, but I think that's it, right? Greenhouse, patio, and what other green rooms have we added to our collection? There's the conservatory and the solarium. Okay, so the conservatory is not guaranteed, but it's like a 3 and 4 because I don't think the we can also rule out the aquarium, correct? Because it's in the corner. So I think a 3 and 4 is a good enough chance here. And if we have to settle for a greenhouse, we'll do that, right? We want a corner room that would continue our draft around the corner here, hopefully to the antechamber. I'm gonna take the prism key because I think it has a really high chance to get us a conservatory. Oh, I'm so wrong though. The aquarium actually does show up. What? Okay, that has just broken every rule that I thought existed. Every rule. I thought that certainly breaks a key rule that I thought was for sure in place, which is that the game will not offer you a door that goes into a wall. But maybe that rule gets broken. Is it like maybe it's the patio and the greenhouse that can't get offered here because you're up in the corner? So because those rooms are not on the table for, I guess because of the way the patio is, they don't want, there's just special rules that maybe rule out those two rooms being either this high, it could be a rank thing, like maybe at rank 9 you can't get them, or because it's in the corner you can't get them. I'm not totally sure. One way or the other though, we got the conservatory that we were hoping for. We take it because we basically pick the conservatory anytime we get it. That may not be true, but I think 999 times out of 1,000 we're picking an observatory, a conservatory, excuse me. Because it's one of those rooms that you just don't want to pass. Okay. Bunk room, den, and vault. These are interesting choices. No, I didn't want to change. I want to go back to. Do I want to change the bunk room? I don't think I want to make this more common. I feel like the bunk room is. It's a very synergistic room when you do have a hovel run or a nursery run going, then you definitely want to see the bunk room. But it's also a dead end, and it can often it'll be in a spot where you don't want to put a dead end. The den is commonplace, and we have 2 dens in our pool, so I probably want to keep this commonplace as well. When you're early on in the draft, you do want to make sure that you're getting enough rooms that have doors. And the den is one of those rooms that really makes sure that your draft opens up at the start. I feel like it's correct to keep it at commonplace. And then we have the vault that's at rare. But it also is, I feel like at rare, it still shows up because we get Draxus the Dead and other similar sorts of buffs that make the vault, like the library. There are ways outside of the conservatory to get your hands on a vault. And I feel like almost every draft are like, we end up with so many coins. We have done 100 coin spin at the casino. We have bought out the showroom. We've bought out the commissary. We've bought out the armory. We've bought out literally, except for, I guess, the locksmith. We've only spent like the prism key getting at the locksmith, but we still have purchased something at the locksmith, and we still have 98 coins. The thing is, we have this clue now that says there might be a sanctum key in the vault. But like I just said, I feel like we have ways of getting our hands on a vault. I don't think we need to make this any more common, because I think that's actually counterproductive. There's so many times where we just don't need that 40 extra gold. I think these all stand pat. These actually turned out to be not the most exciting options because I don't think I'm making any changes. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stand pat. We can think it over and come back and make changes if we want, but I think that's correct. Oh, I forgot there's almost overlooked the fact that there's a gem in this room because Florialis. All right, now we're hoping for a straight through room. Although these are, we've drafted the workshop and we've drafted the showroom and we've drafted the spare master bedroom. So we can get a T-shaped room, right? We don't have to get a straight through room. Let's try our lockpick kit. There we go. We can get the pool. The pool adds the sauna, and we would definitely be in the market for a sauna at this point to boost our steps for tomorrow. And the pool lets us draft through the antechamber, right? Which is what we want to do. I think we settle for that. I don't think we're so greedy to like, what are the rooms that we would really like to get at this point that are not tomorrow rooms? There's a rumpus room, but, you know, good luck getting your hands on a rumpus room. It's supposed to be commonplace, and still it feels like ultra rare. It's got its own rarity where it just never appears. I think this is fine. I think we quote unquote settle for the pool. It does, you know, we're not super interested in either the locker room or the pump room. So that is one downside here. We're adding those to the draft pool, but we still have so many rerolls, right? This is the thing, when you have, like, you don't care so much about the stuff that you add. Diluting the draft pool is not as big of a concern when you can just reroll as many times as we have access to. I just want to make sure we get into the antechamber. We're not necessarily going into room 46 again. We can't right now anyways because the door is not open. But this, we do get the swim trunks though. Look at that, guys. More gold. Do I even want to pick it up? Ooh, car keys that I'm never going to be able to use. We'll pick up the gold because why not, I guess. But now is when we do want to be probably a little bit more liberal with our re-rolling. So we definitely don't pick up the basement key because we have a moon pendant. Let's just keep drafting though, and hopefully we get the rest of the rooms in the house here. Not a dormitory. Classroom versus foyer. I feel like the effect on the classroom doesn't matter when you have the study. And we would just be taking it to get like the apple that's in the classroom, which would get us 6 steps, which is okay, but we have 36 steps. We're fine on those. And we don't need the effect from the foyer. So I think this is a pretty easy redraw. We lose the effect of our compass, but we're already not using the compass anyways with these rooms. So let's go ahead and redraw. A drawing room. Okay. That is one thing that I said that I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at the chair a little bit more closely. So we could take that here, and that opens us up 2 more doors into, like, we're definitely going to be able to draft the rest of the house. Almost certainly. I think we take a drawing room here. I don't feel like there's going to be anything to do with this chair, but it's just that Elzara cutscene that I rewatched during our last note review that has me wondering. So I will take it, but I feel like this is, I'm just going to be looking at this chair and it's going to be like, there's nothing to do. I really, is there really going to be a secret panel or something on this chair? Would they really do that? It doesn't look like it. It don't look like it. I don't know what exactly that Elzara cutscene was trying to hint at. I don't know. But it does not seem like there's a way to interact with this chair. Why does it talk about... What actually are we meant to do with these Elzara cutscenes? Obviously, don't tell me. We're speaking rhetorically here. But I'm wondering, because realistically, what have they done for us? Have they, you know, you could say that they've clued us in a little bit to the word pairs puzzle, you know, helping us figure that out a little bit. But outside of that was that even the first cutscene? That wasn't the first cutscene. I think that was the second cutscene. Outside of those cutscenes, what exactly have those Elzara cutscenes done other than to provide plenty of confusion? What have they done? Is there something about this chair that we're supposed to notice in this sketch? I don't see anything on the chair that would stand out as... I don't know, man. I don't know. It don't make any sense. I don't get it. So we move on. We move on to the next. We move on. And I think we now aim for tomorrow rooms pretty much, right? We don't care about spreading gold. We don't care about getting back to the office. And I don't really care about any of these rooms. So this is just a redraw. We're in the drawing room, so we get a redraw before we even go to the study. So let's do that. And I think this is another redraw. I don't need any of these. I think it's just another redraw. Yeah. There's a sauna. I think I take the sauna here. So let's start racking up these tomorrow rooms, especially in places where it makes sense. Putting a dead end here makes sense. No reason to take a lost and found, I don't think. Curious to go to lost and found again at some point, if nothing else, because there's the Mila statue in there, and you've got that fragment of a sigil. I have taken notes on those. They're in my They're in my my Google Doc. But I wouldn't mind going in that room again just to check things out. But here I will take the sauna. Yep, I think so. I think so. I think so. I think so. We still have so many redraws on the rest of our options, and yeah, there you go. Don't see any items in the sauna, so we continue with our draft, which is almost done. We're almost done skis with the draft. Oh my god, it's a chamber of mirrors. Do I just take a kitchen here? If I take a kitchen, then I am certainly done with steps for the day. And I can draft here and hope to get a tomorrow room through the kitchen, and I can go back to the courtyard. I'll have enough steps to comfortably go back to the courtyard and draft that last security door and hopefully get another tomorrow room there. That seems like a reasonable game plan, right? Are there any other rooms that I would really, really, really rather have here? We still have the kennel that we haven't drafted, although to be honest, I don't remember. I should look at the room directory because I don't have a screenshot of the kennel. I don't know exactly which way it faces. Is it an elbow room? But that is one room we haven't drafted yet. It's not going to be useful to us today, other than being a new room that we would want to look inside at least once. I think I like this game plan. Let's take the kitchen, and it's pointed the way that I want it, so that works. I think that works a-okay. And it solves whatever other steps concerns we might have, which are there. We do have steps concerns. I might wait to take the tomato soup, but there's no reason to wait on these others. We have a coupon book. We have all the synergies. Dude, 32 steps from a club sandwich. Oh my god. And these bananas are going to be bonkers. Yeah, okay, this is good. This is good. We don't have a freezer to think about, so I don't need to worry about saving coins for a freezer. So let's just buy all the steps here. Oh my god, this is going to be ridiculous. This is absurd. Do we even need the tomato soup? I have one red room. We'll wait on the tomato soup. Let's draft this room. This game is silly. Sometimes this game is so silly. There's a break room. Perfect. We get a key card to start tomorrow. Okay, good, good, good. And we have plenty of steps to be able to come back here, even though it's in a slightly inconvenient place. That's totally fine, because this is why we purchase all these steps. Okay, and now I probably just do take the tomato soup, because there's no reason to wait to draft one more red room in the one spot that's like so far away from the kitchen. We'll just take the break room here, and I'm just remembering that we still have all the steps from all of the fruit that's spread in various parts of the house. So this is totally fine. 12-step tomato soup. Not the craziest, but also why not? Okay, one more room to go. Let's head around to that last courtyard. I had sort of forgotten about the gold that was here in the treasure trove. You know, this is how rich our life is now. We can afford to avoid like 30 coins that are just sitting there in the treasure trove, and we still have nary a care in the world. What is our life? Alrighty, let's see what our last room is going to be. We have lots of rerolls. Oh my god. Do we want to take a shot at the gallery, guys? Do we want to take a shot at it? Not today. It is not going to be today. Oh, look at that. We could pick a master bedroom, guys. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, now at this point, it still doesn't matter whether I use gems, because I'm not... What am I using my gems for after this? There's no banking my gems, so I'm definitely, it doesn't matter which reroll we use here. We're just looking for tomorrow rooms. Now, an observatory, it's sort of a tomorrow room, but I don't think it's good enough at this point. I think we can do better. Right? We can do better than that. There is a planetarium. We probably settle for the planetarium. We've got our break room. We've got a sauna. There's not that many tomorrow rooms left, right? I don't even know what the other ones are. We've taken the mail room already. This feels like a pretty easy planetarium. The only catch is that we can only rest in either the planetarium or the break room. I think we would choose the break room, right? Because the security card is much more important than getting 2 more stars added onto our stockpile. So this planetarium, really, we're only taking it to get an additional key from the clock tower, right? So the thing is, here's the thing. We can redraw and rewind. So we can always search for a better option and go back to the planetarium as our fail-safe. So let's do that. Let's just see if we can do better. Oh, there's a code check. Well, the code check is only useful if I decide that I want to check something instead of the crown. We could check the ornate compass. Is the ornate compass just better? The thing is, we get the showroom so often, and we can just buy it from the showroom. So I think the crown is special enough where we leave it in the code check. So I think we probably rewind, question mark. If you really wanted to roll the dice, you could take the crown out of the coat check and put something else in there, like the key card, because you know you're going to get a key card from the break room. But we have the moon pendant, right? Imagine getting the crown of the blueprints carried over to the next day via the moon pendant. That could be fun, but that's also such a roll of the dice that I don't think it's worth taking. At the same time, if we're not resting in the planetarium, if we're not calling it a day in the planetarium, then we might as well just keep the code check as our tomorrow room, right? We could just redraw from here and rewind back to the code check. Yeah? I don't see why not. Because we're definitely resting in the break room. So let's do the redraw from here, and we'll rewind to the code check if we really need to, which I will do here because I don't want any of these. Don't want any of these options over a code check. So redraw again. Don't care about any of these. Same thing, we go back. Roll again. Music room should no longer have a sanctum key, so we don't care about that any longer. Rewind. Night shield on laboratory. They keep throwing that amazing combo at us. Redraw again. We got one more after this. There's the kennel. It is a straight through room. I wasn't sure if it was straight through or elbow. And I forgot to check the room directory. Is it worth checking the kennel at this point just to look at a new room? Man, the kennel combined with the root cellar. I forgot about that synergy. That could be a sweet one. Maybe I should settle for the because what I'm doing here is that if I settle for the coat check, I'm just getting one additional key. When I already have 1, 2, 3, 4 that are being added. I already have 4 tomorrow rooms. So starting the day with a key card and 4 keys is already amazing. We should probably just take the new room here, right? Just take the new room that you've never seen before because we want to get we want to see what's in the new room. So let's keep this as our fallback option. We'll spend our last gem reroll here and see if we get anything better. And if not, we can come back to the kennel. And we will settle for a kennel if we must. Even if it means missing out on a little bit of tomorrow room synergy. Although, apparently we could keep rewinding. I had honestly kind of forgotten about that. Which I guess means I could go back to the code check? Could I literally just rewind as many times as I wanted? That seems so OP. Wow. I'm gonna redraw, though, to see what we get. Because this is our last one. Okay, let's rewind. And one last redraw. And I don't care about any of these. So then it's just a matter of kennel versus coat check, right? And I think I've made my choice. I think I want to see the new room. And especially because we also do pretty well in getting keys. Every single draft now, it feels like we're never starved for resources. We're almost always finding a way. We had a little bit of diciness with the security key card today. That's about the only resource that can be a thorn in our side still. But most drafts, we're not struggling for coins, gems, or keys, it feels like. So let's go with the kennel. Let's do it. Let's see new room. New room time. Here we go. Wait a second. There are actually doggos in here. There's a dig site as well. There's doggos in here. What the? Wow. And I can pet the doggo. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. My heart melts. Oh my God. You poor dogs. You've been stuck in here for how long? Oh, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? Why is there a picture of a cat in the kennel? But also, it's very suspicious. It's very suspicious that it has these letters. It makes me think of our new word puzzle that we unlocked down in the chess room. Castle? That's so funny, though, that there are actually dogs in this room. It's so unexpected because of the fact that, like, there's... outside of Simon, I don't think we've seen another living thing in this whole place. There's birds, okay? There are birds, but those hardly count in my mind because they're so small. They might as well just not even be there. They're like background noise. To see another actual living entity in the house somewhere is just so refreshing. Oh my God. And you can pet the doggo because doggo deserves all the pets. I'm so sad. I wish I could take y'all for a walk. I have so many steps too. Oh, he's done with pets now. He's not standing waiting for. He's not anxiously. No, he comes back up. He comes back up. There he is. Oh my God. These poor dogs are sitting in here though for how many days? Has anyone been feeding them? Oh, there's another one over here. What the hell? Okay. Okay. And I don't think we can interact with any of these leashes. Can't actually take the dogs for a walk. Sag. But then there's just this one random note here. C-A-T. And the fact that the cat is like, it's sitting on the T and it's reaching for the A, that feels like that's got to be important somehow. But I don't know what that fits. I don't know how that clue fits in anywhere. There are 8 windows. No, there's 9. For a second, I thought there were 8 windows. There are 9. But even if there were 8, I don't know how that would be important. Other than, for some reason, my mind started thinking similar to the gallery. I was like, oh, are there supposed to be letters that go here? My overthinking brain sometimes. Let's dig this dig site, because maybe there's steps. But then that's it. That's all she wrote, folks. We are done drafting for today. We have just a couple things left, since we cannot take doggos for a walk. I guess they have water. There's just like a water bottle that's been left. Big old water canister. But these bowls look very empty, and I am kind of pissed that I do not have the ability to feed or quench the thirst of these doggos, and I can't let them out either. Oh my God. They are all identical as well, for what it's worth. The only thing we can do is just, sorry, I can't feed you or give you any water. You're going to die of thirst and starvation, but you will have plenty of pets. So there we go. Man, I'm happy but sad at the same time, because these poor animals. But also there are animals at all in the game. What the hell? What an amazing discovery. So there we go. The kennel has finally been drafted. We can finally cross that one off the list. It is standard. And we now only have the vestibule and the tunnel are the only remaining ones, at least that are in our room. See, here's the thing. If this is going to follow the pattern, there's 8 outer rooms. There's, I mean, basically there are 8 rooms in every single category. Except for these. Rooms 1 through 12, 13 through 24. We have yet to draft roommate. Roommate is still MIA. That's a big mystery. But otherwise, we almost have this thing filled out. We have 8 bedrooms, 8 hallways, 8 green rooms, 8 shops, 8 red rooms, 8 studio additions, except we have 1 more to draft. 8, but we don't have 8 found floor plans. We only have 7. There's got to be an 8th, right? I need to go back and do the math on how many, what was the achievement and how many rooms did it say that we needed to have. We can actually do that right now. We can go to the entrance hall. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to, let's just make sure, the only things that we have left to do is to go back and scorch the sundial base again. Or if it's already scorched, try to turn it. And we have a burning glass to do either of those. And that's basically it. And then we go to the break room and we call it a day. So let's get to it. Off to the orchard. Alrighty, what do we have in terms of... Okay, it looks like the sundial base is back to its original state. And what we learned last time is that it does seem as though I have a choice as to where I scorch the sundial, which does make me wonder if it matters. It does make me, oh, I think I see what I have to do. I don't think it matters. I think I see the pattern now. This is actually, this should not be that complicated now that I think of it. I'm gonna scorch it. Well, yeah, I don't think it matters. Because all I think they want us to do is line up. There is this, similar to the secret garden and lining up the weather vane arrows to point in the same direction. I see there is one, it's like, this is an 8-sided, it's an 8-sided, it's not really a circle, but it's also not, it's not an octagon. It's sort of an octagon. The point here is that if you divide this up into 8 different 45-degree sections, there is one of those sections that is further divided in half, right here. And there's each one of these concentric circles, quote unquote, has one of those sections that's not like the others. And I think they just want us to line those up. So I think that's all we do. And I don't think it matters where we scorch things. We just get it to where we can turn. We turn that one like that. And then we turn this one. Maybe I should have... Could I have turned it the other way? I don't know. But I think all you have to do is turn it like this. Whoa. Oh my god. Are you serious? Oh, okay. Whoa. It has the same set of microchip insertions as in the grotto. What? What the fuck? What? Okay. So we got so many steps here. Let's go to the grotto. And we grab our microchip, or whatever the heck it's called, and we try it in the orchard. All right, the sundial base has been opened, or the sundial has been opened. Step 1 complete, and as is per usual with this game, another mystery has presented itself. It is a small data microchip. So it is plugged in somewhere. It can obviously be plugged in here, but there sure seems like there's 2 other microchips to find somewhere in the estate. We haven't found a single other one. But now there's like a second place to insert these. What? I'm wondering, is it possible? Obviously, don't tell me. You all know the rules at this point. And I appreciate y'all for keeping me in the dark on these things. It certainly makes my experience that much more fun when I do finally make the discoveries that I'm supposed to make. It can just be a little frustrating, you all waiting around for me to make them. But what does that do? Does that have any visual effect here out in the orchard? Because we can see there's a clear visual effect in the grotto, but I'm not sure about what it's supposed to do here in the... It probably makes the most sense to actually have all 3 microchips and put those into the sundial here. So this is an interesting... I wonder if we have down in the sanctum, obviously there's 6 more sanctum doors to open up, and once those are open, we have to solve the sigil puzzles in there. Now, the first 2 puzzles that we solved, those netted us allowance tokens, correct? But there's, you know, who knows what other prizes could be behind those other 6 sigil puzzles. It might not be 6 more allowance tokens. There could be microchips behind some of them. In fact, one of them I think we know has to be a sanctum key. I think we know one of them must be a sanctum key based on the clues that we got from... Oh, I'm going to try one thing here, actually. I'm going to leave this connected. Wait, let me finish my sentence. Finish your thoughts. I do this too often, where I'm talking and I have a sentence that I've already finished in my own head, but I fail to finish it out loud. We have those clues that were in room 46 regarding sanctum key locations, and it sure seemed like, I don't remember exactly what the wording was, but the last door in the inner sanctum, the far right door, sure sounds like it has a sanctum key. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that this light, that one of these lights was not lit up as a result of leaving the microchip in the orchard. I wouldn't have expected it to be, but I just want to double check that. Might as well, because we got nothing else to do with our day. So this is, though, an interesting... well, it's a very interesting discovery. We just can't really do much with it yet. But, oh man, there are still... This mystery in particular with the microchips feels very out of reach. It just feels like, you know, we haven't seen a microchip anywhere. So the only, especially with as many rooms now that we've drafted, we're getting close to having drafted every single room in the house. It could be that there are microchips that are going to be behind some of those sanctum doors. Should we hold on to the microchip so that we can carry it over with our moon pendant? I don't think that's a good idea. Not that we would lose the microchip, but it doesn't make much sense. The microchip is not useful to us until we have the other 2 microchips, correct? We'll make a wish because we got nothing else to do with these 127 coins. And then let's go back to security because I did forget to do a special order. Let's make sure we put in that special order for the magnifying glass this time. The other thing we can do is check the estate inventory just to make sure there was nothing like an upgrade disc or anything that we overlooked. By the way, I'm thinking now, I had this upgrade disc mystery that I had been pondering, and I thought maybe the Rumpus Room had an upgrade disc. And I'm wondering now if it was just the fact that we had we might have had the trading post on that day when I was checking the inventory and realized there's an upgrade just somewhere. The problem is I don't remember what day that was. So I otherwise I could go back and check to see. But I'm suspecting now that we actually had a trading post on the estate that day, and I wasn't factoring in the fact that there might be an upgrade disc in the trading post. Regardless, there's no upgrade disc or anything here. So let's log into the network. And we will once again do a special order for a magnifying glass. That still feels... We're running out of things to do, sort of, but I feel like we need the burning glass. If nothing else, we need the burning glass to do the thing with the sundial when we're ready, because that looks like that resets every day. But we also want the burning glass for the freezer. So because we want to be able to melt the stuff in the cooler at some point. And then who knows whatever other stuff like in the Nook today that I have overlooked or forgotten about, and maybe we will need the magnifying glass for at some point. But I think that is where we are going to, once I get to the break room, we are going to wrap up this this unexpected. I've run out of verbs and not verbs, but adjectives and superlatives to explain how awesome this game is. The fact that this draft was pretty much on its deathbed. And then the Twin Trunks absolutely bailed us out. Completely pulled from the jaws of defeat by the... Oh, the one last thing we do need to do here is make sure that we actually fill out our... I don't want to lose credit for not filling out our... or completing our billiard game. 12 plus 20 is 32. And then we have minus 18, which gets us 14. Is that correct? Should be 14. Okay. I think we just, we see now the order of operations moves from the inside out. So you always do addition first, and then you do... Now, the thing is that does get a little bit different depending on what, if you have like a square in the middle, that can change how things work. But in this case, this should be pretty simple. 18, and then minus 17, minus 10, minus 7 is 17. So 1 times 10 times 2 gets you 20. Easy enough. 2 times 1 doesn't matter. Times 2 gets you 4. Times 10 gets you 40. Divided by 8 gets you 5. And we're done. Okay, so we don't care about the keys, but we do care about keeping as close to a perfect record as we can at this point, even though our actual perfect record is complete. But this is where we will wrap up this installment of Blueprints. Thank you all for hanging out with me to the end. I can't think of any. I'm sure there are probably some clues somewhere in the house that I might be able to think about more closely, but we are going to do that on a different day. And perhaps a future notes review will spur on some ideas as well. At some point, I'm just not quite there yet, I will probably be asking for some hints, right? The best hint that I think is probably going to be asked for eventually, but not yet. I'm going to say, point me back to some rooms that I've probably counted out. What are some rooms that I've been to, that I've examined, or think that I've examined that I need to re-examine? We'll get to that maybe down the road, but we still have some rooms to draft. Like, we know there's room 8 and the kennel. Now, we've drafted the kennel now. The kennel was fun. Doggos! Oh my god, that made my day. But we have rooms that are yet to be drafted, so we have to see what's in those rooms, and we have lots of sanctum doors to open, and we have realm and rune eventually. How long has it been since we've seen a bookshop? We will look to try to get that on day 33, and maybe we'll do some schoolhouse stuff to make that happen. The schoolhouse makes the library more common, so double library might be on the agenda next time. We'll see how it works out, but we got our archaeological shopping center of tomorrow on day 32. A couple new rooms, the kennel, as well as, what was the other new room that we added? The armory, of course. Oh my god, I forgot to, I'm such a dingus. I forgot to use our armory item. Whoops. Whoops. Oh, what else could we do with today, huh? Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I will apologize now to the Armory gods for not using the axe and my axe that I just threw away into the dumpster. Watch the moon pendant bring back the axe for us to use on day 33. That's all I was just setting up the moon pendant to do its thing. Will we have the axe to start day 33? Tune in to find out. Thank you all very much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one.